comfortable place on the mat, in the center of your mat. Take a comfortable seat. Welcome to the mat today. We're going to do an Anahata practice, which Anahata is the heart chakra, and it's the middle chakra. It is a special chakra because it links the lower physical body with the upper spiritual one. So it connects the body with the spirit. And I thought this would be a nice special chakra because it represents bliss, love, contentment, and compassion. So our intention today will be cultivating compassion. If that intention doesn't resonate with you at this time, feel free to choose one of your own. And hopefully it'll be something around joy. And let's grab a couple blocks, a mat, and a blanket, if that serves your practice. And once you have those, just find a nice comfortable seat on your mat, crossing your legs and having your hands at heart center, and we'll meet here. And let's close our eyes and take the back of our thumbs and slightly, gently tap our sternum. What we're doing is we're just going to try to wake up our heart a little bit for this practice. You might naturally find your thumbs doing like a heartbeat thump, and that's fine. Letting go of maybe some of the thoughts from the day and just kind of focusing more on yourself right now and your practice. All that stuff that's in your head, it will be there later. Because right now it's just for you. When you're ready, you can put your palms down on your kneecaps. And we'll just take a moment here and connect with the vibrations of our heart. Take a couple deep breaths. And let's get into tabletop position for a couple nice stretches. You can have your knees directly below your hips and your hands planted firmly on the mat, actively spreading out your fingers. And let's take a couple hip rolls, or you can roll your hips left to right. If you want to do the rolls, you can roll to the right, roll to the left. This helps get your hips a little bit activated. Let's come back to neutral and take your right arm and lift it up high. And now we're going to thread it through between our elbow, our left elbow and knee. If you can, try to have your cheek touch the mat. Stay here for a couple breaths. And now we'll plant our hands back on the mat. And you know where we're going. We're going to take our left arm up and slowly thread it through right above our kneecap, resting your left cheek on the mat. Coming back to neutral tabletop position. Let's do a couple cat-cows. We're going to do about 5 of these, and at your own pace. So you're going to inhale to cat and exhale to cow. Make sure the bottoms of your toes are planted on the mat along with your hands. All 4 corners of your hands are planted. Inhale cat, exhale cow. I tend to close my eyes when I do these because they're so relaxing. We'll meet back up at tabletop when you're done. And when you're ready, you lift up your right leg, flexing your toes, keeping your hips squared with the mat. Let's bring our left leg to our nose for 1, and back, flexing those toes, hips squared to the mat, and 2, to the nose, and back. Now this 3rd time, we're going to bring our left foot forward into a forward lunge position. You want your knees stacked above your ankle. You can have your hands at your sides, and your left leg is resting on the mat. Maybe try to give yourself a little bit of a stretch there without overdoing it. And what we're going to do here is maybe lock your hands behind your back, maybe keep them at your hips, maybe put them up high, but what we're going to do is just do a slight back bend. It doesn't have to be that far, just wherever you can go today. And coming back. Let's do 1 more. Opening up your heart to the sky and back. Let's have our left foot meet our right foot and halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Chest to your thighs. If you have to take a slight knee bend, that's fine. Inhale, lift up, rise up, your hands straight up in the air. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift up. Open up your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat. Plant your hands to the mat. And now we're going to go into a plank position for 5 seconds. If you are not comfortable with this, you can drop your knees down to the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lifting up to downward facing dog. Pressing your chest forward towards your knees. Planting the 4 corners of your hands and your feet onto the mat. And lifting your pelvis to the sky. Let's lift our left leg up in a flex position and bring that forward. Dropping your right knee down, hands to your hips for a low lunge. The top of your right leg should be pressed onto the mat, the top of your right foot pressed onto the mat, making sure your knees stacked above your ankle. And let's do 2 back bends here, slight back bends. And we're gonna lock our hands, put them above our heads, or at your sides if you wish. For 1, and 2. Make sure you're still breathing, and bring your right foot forward halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Enjoy this fold and maybe try to go a little bit deeper this time. Inhale, lift up, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold all the way. Rest your chest on the tops of your hips, on the tops of your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. And now we're going to plant our hands into plank. Again, you can rest your knees on the mat if you need to. Rest one knee or both knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's lift our right leg and bring that forward into our Warrior One pose. Now you want to have your hips parallel with the front of the mat, your knee again stacked over your ankle, hands at your sides to gather some balance here. When you have balance, you can put your hands above your head. Take a couple breaths and enjoy this nice hip opener. When you're ready, you're going to put your hands behind your back. We're going to do a humble warrior. If you can clasp your hands, that's great. If you need to keep them at your sides, that's fine too. And we're going to slowly hinge forward into the humble warrior pose. Keeping your chest parallel with the mat. Rolling your shoulders back and slowly hinge back up. Bring your left foot forward, meet your right foot, and we're going to do the halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, lift up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands to the mat. And we're going to do plank here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Downward facing dog. Untuck those toes and roll back into downward facing dog. Now we're going to take our left leg and bring it forward for Warrior One on the other side. Have your right foot at a 45-degree angle in the 2 o'clock position, making sure your knee is just stacked above your ankle. You should still be able to see your toes. Putting a nice even weight on the front and back, but always kind of pushing off the back of the mat with your back foot, lifting your arms up. And we're going to do humble warrior on the left side here. So we'll go hinge forward. Don't forget to stop breathing, and come back up. Have your right foot meet your left foot, and halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, lift up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's just stay here for a couple breaths. Not losing that connection with our heart. Inhale, rise up. Open up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands to the mat. We're going to do the plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Downward facing dog. This time we're going to bring up our right foot and come into Warrior Two. Having your arms out to the side. Warrior Two is a little bit wider of a stance than Warrior One. Still having your back foot at an angle, 45-degree angle, and your front ankle trying to be lined up with your back ankle if you can do that. Front knee is just stacked above your ankle. Okay, let's do 2 reverse warriors. You can rest your left arm on your back leg. And one more. Flipping your hand up to the sky. Here's your second reverse warrior. Now on this third reverse warrior we're going to rest our elbow on our right elbow on our right knee. So we're going to be doing a side angle. So flip and do the reverse warrior and slowly lower down to a side angle. Having your palm wide open. And instead of having your hand straight up to the ceiling, you want to have your hand at an angle at the ceiling, so you have a nice line of energy going from your left hand all the way down to your left toes or left ankle. So it's a line of energy that's not broken, and if you have it straight up, it tends to break that energy. And we'll come back up to warrior 2. We're going to do 2 more reverse warriors on this side. Flipping the hand up. Kind of do a nice counter pose and back. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, back. Now this time you might want to grab a block. Have it on the side of your on the side of your right foot, because after this on this reverse warrior, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to half moon pose, lifting your left leg off the mat. The one suggestion I could give you is bending your knee ever so slightly to help lift yourself up if you need that extra help. And if you can, you could put your hand down to the mat, a block, whatever helps you stay balanced in this pose. So we're going to reverse this warrior in warrior 2 and slowly go down into half moon pose. Having your arms straight up to the sky. Flexing those toes if you can. And back down to the mat. You can slowly assist yourself with a nice bend at the knee there. Okay, let's turn both our feet at a 45-degree angle at the corners of the mat now for a goddess pose. Now for this goddess pose, because we're focusing on Anahata today, I'd like to take the goddess pose with our hands in heart center. But if it's more comfortable for you, you can take goal post and roll your shoulders back. That's a nice heart opener as well. Or you can interchange the two. So we're going to take 4 goddess poses and slowly lowering your legs like a squat down to the mat, trying to get your thighs parallel with the bottom of your mat. Planting those feet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we'll turn into warrior 2 on the opposite side. So now you're facing the opposite wall than you were before. So if you were looking at the front of the room, you're now looking at the back of the room. Give yourself a couple moments to get into the warrior 2 stance. And what we're going to do, you might want to grab that block for if you need that for half moon, but we're going to do 2 reverse warriors and first go into our side angle pose. So we'll do 2 reverse warriors. The third one will be going into side angle. So flipping your palm forward. Inhale back. Exhale. See if you can get even deeper into that warrior 2 pose. Reverse your warrior. Exhale back. This time we're going to go into the side angle. On the left side, resting your left elbow on your left knee, not using it as a crutch, but just connecting the two. And again, lifting your arm up and over at an angle. So you have a nice, full, open-hearted stretch, having your chest trying to open up to the ceiling and rolling your shoulders back and coming back up to center into warrior two. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more reversed warriors. On this third one, we'll go into the half moon pose. Release all the way down to the mat or to your block. Flexing those toes, hands straight up to the ceiling. If you need to bend your left knee a little bit, that's okay. And slowly back down to the mat. Into warrior two. Let's bring our right foot up to our left. Take a couple breaths here. Let's open up to a mountain pose here and just take a couple breaths. Mountain pose is a nice active pose. Rolling your shoulders back, palms forward. Your toes and ankles can be close, or you can have them hip width apart. Opening your chest out to the sky there. And let's do a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, rise up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Now plant your hands down on the mat into plank for 5, 4. Now this time, we're gonna go right down to the mat. Instead of going into downward dog, we're gonna lower. 3, 2, and 1. Take a nice rest on the mat. Have your left cheek on the mat and your palms right below your shoulders. We'll take a couple breaths here, and then we'll switch over to the cheek on the, your right cheek on the mat, the opposite side. When you're ready, rest your forehead on the mat, tucking your chin, bringing your palms to your side so they're nice and planted on the mat flat. And we're going to do the locust position. Your feet are nice and planted on the mat. The fronts of your feet are firmly planted on the mat. And on the count of 3, we'll come up. Whatever's coming up today can come up. You can bring your legs up, your arms up, your chest up, or just raise your hands in your chest and leave your legs down today, whatever is comfortable. So on the count of 3, we'll all come up. 1, 2, 3. Inhale and exhale down onto the mat. Tucking your chin in, forehead down to the mat. You don't want to be looking out at the side wall because that's too much of a stretch for your neck. Making sure that your crown is shooting to the side of the room as if someone's pulling a string to the wall and your crown of your head. We'll lift up one more time to the locust. 1, 2, 3. Whatever's coming up, come up off the mat. Chest open. palms facing the ground, and exhale down. Let's go into a nice deep child's pose from here. And just enjoy all the energy you just gave to your heart. Continue to breathe. Now we're going to swing our legs to the left or right and come in a nice seated position as we set up for bridge pose. So you want to bend your knees and slowly lower down to the mat. You can have your hands, your fingertips are trying to meet your ankles, and your knees are trying to shoot forward to the front of the room there. And if you want, you can intertwine your fingers, you can cross your arms when you lift up, or if you want a more restorative pose, feel free to put a block under your lower back, and that's comfortable too. So on the count of 3, we'll come up to bridge. 1, 2, and 3. Enjoy this pose. Tuck your shoulders under if you can, and try to reach for your ankles. And slowly lower down. If you have a block, you can remove the block. We're going to come up again. 1, 2, and 3. Maybe try to get a little bit further, deeper into this pose. If wheel is in your practice, feel free to go into wheel from this. Your knees are shooting forward, ankles as close to your fingers or hands that you can, and slowly lower down. For a nice counter pose, let's bring our knees forward and just give them a nice hug. And slowly lower your legs back down to the mat. Now we're going to do a supine twist here as we're trying to warm down. Take your right leg with both your hands, fingers crossed and hugging your knee, and slowly move it to the right. Give it a nice little stretch before we bring it over to the left side. Your arms should be out and your shoulders, trying to keep them on the mat so that both shoulders are lying on the mat. And then slowly glance over to your right hand side if you can. If that's not comfortable for your neck, then keep it up, straight up at the ceiling. Enjoy this deep stretch. Now we'll take our knee and slowly take it with both of our arms, grab our kneecap and slowly bring it back to the center and lower that down. Bringing up the left knee with both hands will help guide it over to the left before bringing it across your body to the right. Trying to keep your chest and shoulders straight at the ceiling. Arms straight out, palms planted to your sides, and maybe gazing off to the left if you can. Okay, you can take both hands, slowly guide your left leg back to center and lower your left leg down to the mat. Now we're going to do a ball pose. So you just grab your knees and bring up your your chest and your head off the mat. Take one big inhale. Tighten everything up. And exhale down to the mat into Shavasana. Opening up your legs and your arms. Begin to release all thoughts and relax into the earth as you drift into a quiet and restful pose here. Extending your arms and your legs and letting everything go. Enjoy everything your heart has to offer today. You can slowly bring movement to your fingers and your toes. And begin to circle out your wrists and your ankles. Feel free to find your way to the right or left side of your mat, or you can stay lying on your back, whatever's most comfortable. And come to a seat when you're ready. Take a moment to just check in with yourself. Thank yourself for coming onto the mat today. And be well, yogis. Namaste.